everyone, I'm gonna do a demo of the Skateboard practical exam. So just a few notes before we get started. My bottles are not labeled, yours are. I'm going to explain which bottle is what as I'm doing it. But I did make an instructor kit so that I don't have to use a kit from one of the students. So before you go to skateboard, you want to make sure you have two forms of ID, and that's going to go for both your theory and practical. Your license and a debit or credit card will suffice. They just want something with your photo ID and signature on it. You also will want to wear your scrubs. I would just wear the black scrubs that you wear to school. Your hair should be up in either a clip, bun, or a ponytail. You could do a braid behind your back as well. I would take out all jewelry. Studs should be okay. I would take necklaces off. Definitely no dangly earrings. If you have like a little stud nose ring, that's fine as well. Definitely nothing dangly at all. Your nails should be no longer than the end of your fingertips. So if you face your hands towards you and you see your nails, they're a little bit too long, you need to cut them. I would recommend either no nail polish at all or just a very plain neutral color. So for example, my nails right now are too bright. I don't know if you can see them, but they're very bright pink. I personally wouldn't do that for skateboard. It might be okay depending on your proctor, but if they're more strict, it might not be. So I would just be on the safe side and either have no polish or just like an extremely light pink or a sheer or a nude. Also, if you see my kit looking slightly different from yours, don't worry. I threw this together in a pinch to make this video. The way your kit is set up is the correct way. And like I've said before, if you look around during skateboard and you see other people with slightly different supplies, or their supplies just look different, or maybe they're doing it slightly differently, please don't worry. Do it exactly how I've taught you and how Mimi has taught you, and you will pass with flying colors. I'm very familiar with skateboard and very experienced in it. I know what they're looking for. Also, one last thing, keeping in mind they just changed the practical this year, and it was either in late March or early April, so very, very recent changes. So I would be very wary about going on YouTube and searching Virginia Skateboard Practical, because everything on there currently is showing you the old way before they changed it. Because they changed it so recently that no one has made an updated version and put it on YouTube yet. So I would just stick to watching this video because you're guaranteed you're getting the new way, because I'm reading off the most up-to-date bulletin. So let's get started. So when you first walk into the room, you're gonna have your duffel bag and everything will be in it. The mannequin head, the wax pot, and all your bags. You should walk in, put it under your table, and just stand there and wait for further instruction. Do not talk to the proctors, do not talk to anyone else in the room. Work area preparation and setup of supplies, 10 minutes. You will prepare your work area for your client. You will set up the universal supplies you will use throughout the examination. You will also set up the supplies for the basic facial. You'll be expected to follow all client protection, safety, and infection control procedures. You will have 10 minutes to complete this section. You will be informed when you have 5 minutes remaining. Do not demonstrate any procedures until the verbal instructions are given and you are instructed to begin. Step back to indicate you have finished. You may begin. So you're gonna go down into your bag, your duffel bag. This chair is serving as my duffel bag, but your duffel bag will be under the table. You'll unzip it, and the very first things I would suggest taking out would be your 3 bags in which you are going to dispose of everything through the exam. Going from left to right, it doesn't matter, but I prefer to put the trash bag on my left because I'm going to be using the trash bag more than anything else. Secondly, in the middle, I like to put items to be disinfected because that's going to be your second most used bag after trash. And then finally, I put soiled linens because you don't use it very often. You're only using it to dispose of towels. Also, some of your bags are labeled on both sides, which is good because you can see it on one side and the proctors have to see it as well. If your bag, oops, my phone is slipping. If your bag is just labeled on one side, make sure it's facing the proctor. But I highly recommend labeling on both sides because you have to know what your bags are as well. So I have my trash, items to be disinfected, and soiled linens. Next thing you're gonna do is take out client 1 bag. You can also take out the mannequin head. So I'm gonna open my bag and first reach for everything that's loose in there at the bottom because these are your universal supplies that are gonna stay on your table through the whole test. So hand sanitizer, and as soon as I take it out, I'm gonna go ahead and sanitize my hands. You're also, now the order in which you're taking these out isn't a big deal. It doesn't matter as long as by the end of this section you have out what you need. They're not looking at the order in which you're taking things out of your bag. Clorox wipe, I'm gonna take a Clorox wipe out, wipe my whole area. The whole table thoroughly. Wipe the mannequin head, top and bottom. Set that up there. So at this point we have sanitizer and Clorox wipe. When you're done with your Clorox wipe, that's gonna go in the trash. You've reached for the trash, so you're gonna sanitize. And lastly, your third universal supply item is your first aid kit. So these 3 things will remain on your table at all times. So now, it wants you to set up for the basic facial, but we're not performing anything yet, just setting up. So you're gonna take out your SMA, which are your paper towels. Now we can't know ahead of time how much room you'll have on your table, so I recommend practicing with a smaller amount of space. So I'm gonna set up my paper towels off to either side. If you prefer to reach to your left, you can set it to your left, or if you prefer to reach to your right, you can set it to your right. Once the SMA is set up, we're gonna take out each of our bags. So we know for this section, we cleanse, exfoliate, massage, and mask. And so we're gonna try to, even though we're taking these items out of the bag, we're gonna try to cluster them together so that you know what supplies are for which section. The labels on these small bags are just so that you know what's what, by the way. The proctors don't care about these Ziploc bags. This is so that you know what's what. So this is my cleanser bag. In it, I have cleanser, toner, and don't worry about what my bottles look like. I'm using what was left over, and all we have left after you guys made your supplies are spray bottles. You have the best, most optimal bottles for each section. So I have a cleanser, a toner, I have 2 4x4s and 4 cotton rounds. And now I'm setting those very close together so I know this is my cleansing step. Just set this back to the side, and unless you don't mind continuing to reach to the trash over and over again and sanitize in between. But I like to throw all the bags together at once because that's just fewer times that you have to remember to sanitize after reaching down. Our next step, just as we would do on a real client after cleansing, would be our exfoliate bag. In it, you're going to have a bottle labeled exfoliant, a round brush, 2 4x4s, and some of you may have had room to put your steam towel in your exfoliate bag, or maybe you have it loose in your duffel bag, that's fine too. But you should have a steam towel. This will actually be dampened and wrung out. It must actually be wet. So you're gonna have your steam towel. and you do have to take it out of the bag. So make sure you've wrung it out really well so that it's not dripping wet. So after we cleanse and exfoliate, the next reasonable thing we would do would be the massage. And in your massage bag, you just have two 4x4s and one bottle or cup labeled massage product or massage cream. So I'm clustering my items together so I know what's with what. And then finally, to conclude the facial, you have a bag called mask. We do have several items in this bag. We have a cup labeled mask, a moisturizer, an SPF, because that's how we're gonna finish every client, like in real life. We have two 4x4s, two cotton rounds, a wax stick, you could also call it a spatula because that's kind of what we're using it for, and a fan brush. So, now that we've emptied all of our bags, you can also take out the shower cap and set that to the side as well. Once your bags are empty, I like to put all of the bags inside the client one bag. So stuff them in there, toss them in the trash, sanitize, and step back. At this point, we haven't draped our client yet because they didn't instruct us to. So now they're gonna move on to the next section. Client preparation and basic facial, 25 minutes. You will prepare your client for services. You will perform a basic facial. The basic facial will include cleansing, manual exfoliation, towel steaming, massage, and mask. You will be expected to follow all client protection, safety, and infection control procedures. You will have 25 minutes to complete this section. You will be informed when you have 12 minutes remaining. Step back to indicate you have finished. You may begin. All right. So you will step forward and sanitize. Every time you step forward and before every time you step back, to indicate you finished, you're gonna sanitize. So step forward and sanitize. Now we're gonna prepare our client for services and then go straight into the basic facial. So you should have a bag, or this could have been within your client one bag, however you decided to make your bag. But you should have two dry towels because one will serve as the facial table that they're laying on and one will serve as the blanket or flat sheet that covers them. You can fold it or you can lay it out straight. It does not matter. I'm just choosing to half it, but you don't have to. I'm gonna lay the head on top. And now I'm going to cover her with the second towel. I'm also gonna take out the shower cap or headband, whichever one you have is perfectly acceptable, and I'm going to put it on her at this time. Now, if you have any trash, like a bag or plastic wrapping from this, throw it in the trash, sanitize, and instead of stepping back, we're moving straight into our basic facial from here and going through all the steps as one, just like you would do a real facial. So the first thing we're going to do is take a cotton round and our bottle that says cleanser, dispense cleanser on one cotton round. For this whole exam, brace anytime you're working around the eyes or mouth. So we're gonna brace and wipe one eye with that cotton round. Just wipe a couple of times. This will go in the trash. Sanitize, take the cleanser in a new cotton round, brace and remove eye makeup from the second eye, trash, sanitize, take a third new cotton round, cleanser on it. We're gonna brace and wipe the lipstick off the mouth, trash, sanitize. Now we're gonna cleanse as normal. We're gonna dispense cleanser into our hand, and remember, we're not done with this bottle yet, so we're not getting rid of it. We keep setting it back down on our workstation. Dispense the cleanser. You can kind of do that thing where you warn your client that you're coming by resting your hands on the forehead, and then just do whatever cleansing technique you're used to, kind of like light effleurage, circular motions. Make sure you're being thorough and getting the entire face. I would count to about 45 to 60 seconds in your head. slowly before moving on. Make sure they've seen you get the entire face. Now we're going to take the two 4x4s and remove the cleanser. I like to take them both and do a simultaneous swipe on both sides of the face. These will be trash. Sanitize. Finally, you're going to take your last cotton round toner. You're going to put your toner on it and tone the entire face. Trash. Sanitize. Now that you're done with your cleansing section, see, I like to get rid of my bottles and anything that would fall under items to be disinfected. I like to get rid of those after each step or after each section. So just to get it out of my way, and because you don't want to, if I had gotten rid of it the first time I used the cleanser, then I would have not had my cleanser and said, oh no, I only took makeup off one eye, I have the other eye, I have the mouth, I have to do the actual cleanse. So that's why I like to make sure that I'm done and ready to move on before getting rid of my bottles. So my two bottles are gonna go in items to be disinfected. Sanitize because we reached down, and we're not stepping back, we're moving right into the next section. So our next section is gonna be exfoliation. In real life, your plastic would be off this. If it's still on, you can take it off, throw the plastic in the trash, or you can pre-take it off and make sure it's ready for skateboard, either way. But pretend my plastic is off of here. We're gonna take the bottle label exfoliant, pour it directly onto the round brush, exfoliate the entire face in circular motions, avoiding the eyes and lips. And for this video purposes, I'm not gonna do it as long as I actually suggest doing it in real life. I'm just doing a quick simulation, but make sure you're really taking your time. Now we are done exfoliating. So we're gonna toss this into items to be disinfected, sanitize. We are going to take our steam towel. I like to think of it as, pretend that you're using daily microfoliant. You know how it can be really hard to get those granules off? That's why it makes sense that we're using the steam towel during the exfoliation. So something they're looking for that's really important, we're pretending this was just in the hot towel cabinet and it's still hot. It is actually gonna be damp, but in real life it won't be hot, but you have to pretend it is. So you're gonna undo it, shake it out, pretend it's hot. Test it on your wrists. Look around, make sure they're watching you and seeing you test it. Continue to test until they've glanced over at you. We're gonna lay it, do the barber's wrap. Once you've wrapped over her face, if you'd like to do your compressions, you can as well. Now we're gonna use that towel to remove the product. And if you want, you don't have to, but if you want, you can go back in and do Love Glove. Remove on one side, Love Glove on the other side. And now this is gonna go into, for the first time, we're using soiled linens. That's our laundry basket, essentially. Sanitize. Now, for good measure, to remove any residual product, we're gonna take our two 4x4s, run it over the face. That'll be trash. Sanitize. And now our exfoliant bottle, items being disinfected, sanitize. We're moving on to our second to last step, our 3 out of 4, the massage. Now this one has the fewest items, and it's probably the simplest. We're just gonna take the bottle or cup called massage product or massage cream, dispense it in our hands, lay it all over the face, and we're going to do our 4 main massage movements. So effleurage, petrissage, that's the pinching, tapotement, and friction, your crisscrosses. Count to 30 for each of those movements. Make sure they've seen you. When you're finished, take the two 4x4s and remove the massage product. 4x4s will be trash, sanitize. Massage product will be items to be disinfected because it's a bottle, sanitize. Last step already. See, this has been easy. We're gonna go into our mask. So we have it in a cup. Now, I like to pretend that this is a reusable product, but you could also throw it away. I just like to put this in items to be disinfected, and so because of that, I'm taking this wax stick as if it were a spatula, taking the product out, laying it on the lid, and now taking the fan brush, getting that mask off the lid, and lay your mask how you normally would. Be careful to make sure you're laying it evenly across the face and that there's no big globs on one side while we're missing product on the other side. Now at this point, if you want, you can take your cup, and now again, like Mimi said, cups can also be trash. You can put them in either trash or items to be disinfected. If you were doing something like double dipping, so putting the brush straight into here, putting on our face, and then dipping in for more, it would have to be trash. If you're doing the spatula method where you're getting everything out at once, putting it and then getting it off with the fan brush and not double dipping, then it could be items to be disinfected. It's totally up to you. So now at this point, this has already touched the client, so I don't want to set it back down on my station. I'm going to go ahead and put this into items to be disinfected and sanitize. You can also put the stick in the trash and the cup into items to be disinfected or trash, depending on how you decided to do it. Now I'm gonna kind of stand over her and pretend the mask is sitting and processing as it would in real life. And I'm kind of just pretending I'm looking for any reaction or erythema. And I'm just gonna do this for a second. All right, so now I'm going to take my two 4x4s to remove the mask, trash, sanitize. We do have two cotton rounds here. You can use them or you can get rid of them. Here's why I say that. We have moisturizer that you can apply with a cotton round or with your hands, and then SPF. Same thing here, you can use a cotton round or your hands. I had you guys pack these two in case you wanted to use them. If you want to get rid of them and just put the product in your hands, you can do that. So if you use cotton rounds, they would be trash. The bottles will be disinfected. And what you're going to want to do before stepping back is look at your station, make sure you have no bottles out, no supplies, no disposables like cotton rounds or 4x4s. And so all you should have is your paper towels, which is your SMA, your 3 universal supplies, and your client on the table. So we're going to look to make sure everything looks how we want it, sanitize, and step back to indicate you're finished. And that was all of client 1 right there. Work area preparation for new client and setup of supplies, 10 minutes. You will break down your work area and dispose of supplies used in the previous sections of the examination. You will prepare your work area for a new client. You will set up the universal supplies you will use for the remainder of the examination. You will also set up for the following sections: hair removal of the eyebrow using simulated soft wax and tweezing, and facial makeup. You will have 10 minutes to complete this section. You'll be informed when you have 5 minutes remaining. Do not demonstrate any procedures until the verbal instructions are given and you are instructed to begin. Step back to indicate you have finished. I'm sorry, it's really hot in here, and I'm gonna turn the cool on and also see how long I've been. Oh my gosh, that's a long time. Within the same step, we were instructed to break down and set up for client 2. So we're going to step forward when they tell us to begin, sanitize. We're going to take our paper towels, which is our SMA, throw them in the trash, sanitize. Now remember, they're still watching you during the steps where you're breaking down and setting up, because they want to know that if you're doing a real client, you're switching from one to the other, that you're being sanitary in between. So they're still watching to make sure that you're sanitizing in between reaching for the trash and things like that. So we're going to undrape, set the head to the side, take the 2 towels that she had, put them in soiled bins, sanitize because we reached down for our bags. Now we're gonna take out one of our Clorox wipes you actually are going to take it out. I'm not, to preserve this pack, but you would actually take one out. Same with sanitizing. I've been simulating, but you are actually going to sanitize your hands. So take one out. You can wipe the wipes, wipe the first aid kit, wipe the hand sanitizer, wipe your entire desk all over again, wipe the mannequin head underneath too, top and bottom, front and back. Sanitize again for good measure, because why not? Now we're going to go back down under our table into our zipped duffel bag. Remember, every time after you're done using it, you're gonna zip it back up. So we're going down into our zipped duffel bag, we're unzipping it, and we're taking out client 2, plus our 2 towels for her new setup. So going into client 2 bag, the first thing we're going to take out is our SMA, which is our 3 paper towels. But we have a new set because we're on a second client now. So lay that out to either side. We may have given you 2 sets of paper towels. In that case, you could put one on the left of the head, one on the right, if you have room for it at the test. Now we're going to take out our bag that says soft wax and empty its contents. We have a cup labeled soft wax, 7 cotton rounds, a bottle labeled antiseptic, a bottle labeled post-epilation, gloves, tweezers, and wax sticks. Set that empty bag to the side. We'll throw it away at the end. Now we're going to take out our bag that says makeup and empty all of its contents, clumping things together so you know what supplies go with which step. We need to have foundation, powder, blush for the face. For the eyes, we need to have eyeshadow, eyeliner, mascara, and then for the lips, lipstick. And it has to be applied in that order as of that recent change to the state board. We're also going to take out, we should have some sponge wedges, maybe some cotton balls, or cotton rounds, whichever you prefer. Definitely some spoolies, some disposable lip wands, and some disposable eyeshadow applicators. We're also going to go ahead and take out the shower cap, which was loose in the client 2 bag. Set it there, but we're not getting our client draped and ready yet. But we can take her 2 towels, which are her sheets, out of the bag and just kind of set them there folded. So now, I just like to put the bags within each other because I feel like it looks nice. So I'm gonna take the content bags, put them in client 1 bag, and throw this away all as one. Trash, sanitize. So because we haven't been instructed to prepare our client, we are going to step back. New client preparation and hair removal of the eyebrow using simulated soft wax and tweezing. 5-minute setup, untimed procedure. You have 5 minutes to prepare your client for the following sections: hair removal of the eyebrow using simulated soft wax and tweezing, and facial makeup. Please do not begin any procedures until the verbal instructions are given and you are instructed to begin. Step back to indicate you have finished. You may begin. So at this point, all they want you to do is prepare your client, which is just draping her. So step up and sanitize. We're going to take one of our towels and lay it down as her facial table. We're going to lay her on top. And we're going to take the second towel and drape her with it as if it was a sheet or a blanket. Now you're going to take your brand new shower cap out of its plastic, put it on her, throw the plastic in the trash and sanitize, and then step back once she's draped. So make sure you're listening really carefully to the instructions because they are going to tell you when to set up your area versus when to prepare your client. So we're going to step back and wait for the next instructions. You will perform hair removal of the eyebrow using simulated soft wax and tweezing. You will select one eyebrow to demonstrate a simulated soft wax and tweezing procedure. You'll be expected to follow all client protection, safety, and infection control procedures. You will be instructed individually by the examiner to demonstrate the soft wax and tweezing procedures. This is an untimed section. Do not begin to demonstrate the soft wax and tweezing procedures. You will be instructed individually by the examiner to do so. So this is the only section in the whole exam where instead of telling the whole room they may begin, they're going to come up to you individually. So wait until someone's right in front of you. So let's say they're in front of you. They will say, please demonstrate hair removal using simulated soft wax along the entire length of one eyebrow. So we're going to step up and sanitize. First things first, we're going to put our gloves on. I'm pretending that I'm putting mine on, but you're actually going to put yours on. You could also sanitize again after you've put your gloves on for good measure. So the first thing you're going to do is pick an eyebrow. It can be left or right, it doesn't matter. We're picking one and sticking with it this whole time. You're going to take your bottle labeled antiseptic and put it on a cotton round. Don't get rid of these bottles, you're going to need them again. Now wipe that antiseptic across our chosen eyebrow. This will be trash. Sanitize. Now we're going to take a plain dry cotton round, put nothing on it. We're going to pat or wipe the area dry to absorb excess moisture because we can't wax over wet skin. Trash. Sanitize. Now, it's tempting to go right into waxing the client, but you gotta remember to test the wax on your wrist first. You should have something like Vaseline in here. So open that cup, take a wax stick, scoop out some Vaseline, test on your wrist. This stick will be trash, you can sanitize. Take one of your wax strips, lay it on and remove it off your wrist. That strip will now be trash, of course. Now that we've tested the temperature, we're ready to use the wax on the actual client. So take a new stick and your soft wax cup, scoop some Vaseline out. We're going to, from the nose to the tail of the eyebrow, lay in the direction of hair growth. We're going to get rid of this stick, sanitize, grab a strip, lay it across, and press down a few times to make sure it's grabbing the hair. We're going to brace down by the tail end of the eyebrow, remove the opposite direction of hair growth. Make sure you're going parallel, not vertical. Very important. You can also place pressure for good measure. Toss that wax strip, sanitize. Now you're going to take your antiseptic again on a new cotton round. So antiseptic comes before and after. Trash sanitized. And now post-epilation, because we waxed. So post-epilation, post meaning the last thing that you do in the soft wax procedure. On a cotton round, put that on the brow, trash sanitize. And now we're going to take our soft wax cup. We can either do trash or items to be disinfected, sanitize, and now they're separately going to ask you to tweeze. At this point, you should still have your gloves on. Keep your gloves on, just sanitize them and step back. So they're going to say, please tweeze 3 hairs from the same eyebrow and conclude the service. All you're going to do here, Amy, you can come in if you need to. You're fine. No, you're fine.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So, are you recording?
No, yeah, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
So I'm using the high frequency machine. If I use the different, like for example, I use like the hair one and then the regular one for the face. Can that kind of shift?
That's fine. No, yeah, that's totally fine. All right. So all you're doing for tweezing is stepping up, sanitizing. We're going to take a cotton round and take our tweezers. Remember, we still have gloved hands at this point. We're going to brace because we're working around the eye. Tweeze 3 hairs in the direction of hair growth, and each time you tweeze, you're taking the tweezers and setting that hair on the cotton round each time. So then you would put the cotton round in the trash, your tweezers and items to be disinfected, and then at this point you can also put your bottles in items to be disinfected because we're done with them. I may have given you guys 2 more cotton rounds than you actually need. With me going through it just now, it seemed like you need 5 because I have 2 left. You're welcome to get rid of them or keep them in the bag if you feel like maybe you need extras. But if you do have extras that you haven't used, go ahead and get rid of them when you're done with this section. So put these in the trash, sanitize, and step back. And then they're going to move on to the next person. You could also, at that point, before stepping back, you could remove your gloves, trash them, sanitize, and step back. We're just always wearing gloves when we're doing hair removal of any kind. Facial makeup, 20 minutes. You will perform facial makeup. You'll be expected to apply facial makeup in the following order: foundation, powder, blush, eyeshadow, eyeliner, mascara, and lip color. You're expected to brace when working around the eye and mouth areas. You will have 20 minutes to complete this section. You will be informed when you have 10 minutes remaining. Step back to indicate you have finished. You may begin. All right, so we're gonna step up and sanitize. And we're going to take the blanket that's over top of her and just pull it up a little bit more as if we're kind of protecting her clothes from the makeup. Now, it might be stressful to think, okay, I have to apply 7 cosmetic products in a specific order, but if you think about the order, it really makes sense. I mean, it's kind of how we do our own makeup. So we're starting with skin, secondly, we're doing the eyes, and lastly, we're doing the lips. So when we do the skin, it only makes sense to go in the order of foundation, powder, and blush. When we're doing the eyes, it only makes sense to go in the order of eyeshadow, eyeliner, and then mascara. For lipstick, for the lips, it's just lipstick. There's no lip liner, so there's just 1 step there. All right, so once we've stepped up, sanitized, pulled this up a little bit, we're gonna start with the foundation. So however you have it, if you wanna scoop it out of a palette and put it on a, like one of those little makeup artists like Trivets, something that's clean and sanitary, and then double dip from there, you can. But if you're taking it straight from the palette, you can't double dip. So we're gonna take her foundation, whether it's a squeeze bottle or in a palette, put it all over. Sponges and cotton balls would be trash. I would use the sponge for the foundation personally. So I'm gonna trash, sanitize. We're gonna put on her powder. We could use a cotton ball, powder. I'm going a lot faster than you would because I'm not actually putting makeup on her. Trash, sanitize. Blush, I would also use the cotton ball. Trash, sanitize. Okay, so her skin is done. We're moving on to the eyes. We can take a disposable eyeshadow applicator. Go into your palette, grab a color, put on one eye. I would trash that and sanitize and grab a brand new disposable for the second eye. Put that color, trash, sanitize. Now with the eyeliner, you can put this directly on her. That's totally fine because we are assuming that it's already, everything that's in your kit is already clean. All right, now we're gonna take our mascara. We're gonna take the original wand out and replace it instead with a disposable spoolie. And we're gonna simulate mascara on one eye, trash that spoolie, sanitize, grab a second spoolie for the other eye. And then finally, we're gonna take the lipstick with a disposable lipstick applicator, grab some lipstick on that applicator, put it on the lips. If you need more and you have to go back into the tube, you have to grab a new lip on because you've touched the client. So once you're done with everything, if you have any more disposables, single-use items, trash them, even if you didn't use them. Now you're gonna take your makeup items, your palettes, eyeliner, mascara, foundation, lipstick, all that. These will all be in items to be disinfected. Sanitize and step back, and that's all of makeup. Blood exposure procedure, 10 minutes. You will demonstrate the blood exposure procedure. You will imagine the following scenario. During a service, your client has sustained a minor cut to the chin. The injury is such that you can continue with the service. You've not come in contact with the blood and your work area has not been contaminated. You're expected to demonstrate the proper procedure for blood exposure. You'll be expected to follow all client protection, safety, and infection control procedures. You'll have 10 minutes to complete this section. You will be informed when you have 5 minutes remaining. Step back to indicate you have finished. You may begin. I still have gloves. Okay. So step forward and sanitize. We're going to go into our first aid kit, which is already up there with our universal supplies. We're going to open that up. First things first, we're gonna sanitize and put those gloves on that are in our kit. So we have our gloves on. If you wanna sanitize again after putting your gloves on, you can do that. You can't sanitize too much. Next, we're gonna take the sandwich bag that's in here and prop it open as best we can. Now, we're going to take our alcohol pad, take it out of its packaging, wipe the chin clean, put that wipe and trash in your propped open sandwich bag. Take the Band-Aid, put the Band-Aid on the chin, take the Band-Aid wrapper trash, put that in the sandwich bag. Now we're going to remove our gloves, one inside the other, put in the sandwich bag, close the sandwich bag and put in the trash, and then sanitize and step back. I know we're so used to, oh, and then the first aid kit can go into items to be disinfected. Sanitize, step back. I know we're so used to throwing the trash straight down into that trash bag like muscle memory. Please be conscious of the fact that in this step you're putting everything into the Ziploc bag first to show kind of like a blood exposure. It's almost like a contaminated, like a biohazard double bagging procedure, because we can't put blood loose into a trash bag. It has to be double bagged. So everything from this section would go into that sandwich bag, and then finally, once your gloves are there and everything's in there, then it goes in the trash. Now, like we said in class at some point, at some time during client 2, we don't know when, it's kind of going to be a surprise, they're going to ask you to set up your hard wax. So that's going to be your real wax pot, because you do have that canister with a few wax beads covering the bottom. You're going to set it up and plug it in whenever they tell you to. And they're going to do it at such a time that the wax has time to melt enough before they go to that section. All right, so let's find... You have 2 minutes to set up the supplies for the hair removal of the upper lip using hard wax section of the examination. Please do not begin any procedures until the verbal instructions are given and you are instructed to begin. Step back to indicate you have finished. You may begin. Now, all you're doing here is setting up. You're not beginning the wax procedure, you're just setting up for it. So step forward, sanitize. You're gonna go into your duffel bag and take out your bag that is loose in there. It says hard wax. I have it loose because they're telling you separately to set just this up, and we don't know when. So we don't want it entangled in some other bag, because they're kind of gonna spray it on you at a random time during client 2, and nobody ever knows when. So we're taking out hard wax. We're gonna set up all of its contents. So we should have a bottle label antiseptic, bottle label post-epilation, your actual hard wax pot, which you will have taken out of your duffel bag. And then when you're done with your duffel bag, remember to always zip it in between, keep it under your station. You're gonna set up and plug it in. They do have outlets for you. We should have 4 cotton rounds, a few wax sticks, actually 3 to be exact, and gloves. Now we're gonna throw that bag in the trash and sanitize. So now we have set up for it and we can step back. So in the old version of this test, they would come around individually for both wax sections. In this one, they're not specifying that it's individual, so it sounds like for this one, they're watching the whole room, which is actually to your advantage because you won't be as nervous if they're not watching you individually. You will perform hair removal on the upper lip. You will demonstrate the procedure on the entire upper lip using hard wax. You'll be expected to follow all client protection, safety, and infection control procedures. You'll have 10 minutes to complete this section. You'll be informed when you have 5 minutes remaining. Step back to indicate you have finished. You may begin. Step forward, sanitize. Put your gloves on because we're doing a hair removal procedure. Take your first cotton round, antiseptic, across the entire upper lip. We're bracing with one finger or one hand because we're on the mouth area. trash, sanitize. Take a dry cotton round, pat or wipe that area dry to absorb excess moisture. And we are going into our real wax pot with real melted hard wax. Scoop some out, place it on your wrist to check the temperature, trash that and sanitize. Wait for it to dry, check, make sure it's ready to be pulled. Pull, toss that piece of wax in the trash. Now that we've tested it, we're ready to go in on the actual client. So take your second stick into the wax. We're going to divide the lip in half, just like we've taught you guys. So starting in the middle, work outward toward a corner of the lip, trash that stick, sanitize, wait for it to be ready, make sure you have made yourself a pull tab, test, make sure it's not tacky anymore. We're going to brace down on the corner of the lip and pull inward parallel to the skin. Trash that piece of wax, sanitize. We're going to move on to the second half. So take your third and final wax stick into your hard wax, lay on the other side of the lip, working inward out. Trash that stick, sanitize. Test before you pull. We're going to brace down here near the corner, pull the opposite direction of hair growth. You could also apply pressure for good measure to show that you're trying to keep the pain down. Toss that piece of wax in the trash. Gonna take a cotton round, apply antiseptic across the entire upper lip. Trash, sanitize. Take your final cotton round, put post-op ablation across the whole lip. Trash, sanitize. Now your two bottles will be adequately disinfected and sanitized. Once you sit back and you've completed this, they're going to read off to you that you have completed the examination and they're going to thank you for your participation. When they've done that, they're not watching you anymore. You can take all your stuff and go. You can dispose of things however you want. So I hope that was helpful. I hope it answered all of your questions. And thanks for watching.